O-Level Chemistry, Paper Code 5070, Paper 1, Variant 1, May, June 16, and today we are going to solve question number 11 to question number 20. Question number 11. Group 1 metal form compounds with group 7 halogens. The compound form are number 1, here we have a gap, this one we have to fill, in water and contains number 2, here again we have a gap, this gap we have to fill, bonds. Which words correctly complete gaps 1 and 2? For gap 1 in this column, in options A and B it is given insoluble, in C and D it is given soluble. For gap 2 in this column, for A it is given covalent, in B it is ionic, in C it is covalent, and in D it is given ionic. When a member of group 1 reacts with group 7, an electron is transferred from group 1 member to group 7 and the bond formed because of transference of electron is called ionic bond. So here the bond formed will be ionic. Now ionic is given here in B and D, so possible options are B and D. What about solubility? As an example, group 1 member is sodium and a member of group 7 is chlorine. When sodium reacts with chlorine, we get sodium chloride, and this sodium chloride is soluble in water. So here, when a group 1 member reacts with group 7 member, the compound form is soluble in water. Now soluble is given here in option D, and also for the gap 2, ionic is given here in option D. So correct option, option D. The bond formed here is an ionic bond, and the compound that is formed here is soluble in water. Question number 12. Compound P is the only substance formed when two volumes of ammonia gas react with one volume of carbon dioxide gas, both volumes being measured at room temperature pressure. What is the formula of P? Here 2 volumes of ammonia means 2 moles of ammonia is reacted with 1 mole of carbon dioxide, and we get a compound. The name of the compound is given here P, and we have to find out the chemical formula of this compound P. Now the total number of atoms before the reaction will be equal to total number of atoms after the reaction. Before the reaction we have total 2 nitrogen, so the compound that is formed here will have 2 nitrogen. Here we have total number of hydrogen is 6, so in the compound that is formed here will have 6 hydrogen. Here we have 1 carbon and 2 oxygen, so the compound that will be formed here will have 1 carbon and 2 oxygen. Now we have to check the options. In option A, the chemical formula that is given here have 1 and 1 total 2 nitrogen. Here we have 2 nitrogen. Here we have 1 carbon and 2 oxygen. The compound formed here have 1 carbon and 2 oxygen. Here we have 2 hydrogen and 4 hydrogen, means total number of hydrogen is 6, and here the compound that should be formed have 6 hydrogen. So here number of atoms are same in option A for the compound that should be formed by the reaction in between ammonia and carbon dioxide. So our correct option, option A. What about the other options? In B, we are looking, here we have 2 nitrogen, it is okay, but for hydrogen, total hydrogen is 2 into 2, 4. But here the compound form should have 6 hydrogen, so this option is incorrect. In C, again we have 2 nitrogen, it is correct, but for hydrogen we have 4 plus 4, here it is 8 hydrogen, so this one incorrect. In D, we have 2 nitrogen, it is correct, but for hydrogen again we have 4 multiplied by 2, it is 8 hydrogen, and the compound that should be formed here will have 6 hydrogen. So option D is incorrect. Correct option is option A. Question number 13. Two isotopes of chlorine are Cl35 and Cl37. Using these isotopes, how many different relative molecular masses are possible for the compound with molecular formula C2H3Cl3? In this compound, C2H3Cl3, we have 3 chlorine atoms. These chlorine atom may be chlorine 35 or may be chlorine 37. So we will get different relative molecular masses for the compounds formed here. Now to check how many relative molecular masses we will get. This question is related to probability. Here we have to make a tree to find out the number of relative molecular masses. Suppose here it is first chlorine atom, it is second chlorine atom, here we have third chlorine atom. For first chlorine atom it may be 35 or 37. Now for the second chlorine atom it may be 35 or 37 that have reacted with 35 of first chlorine atom, or it may be 35 or 37 that is reacted with 37 of first chlorine atom. In the same manner, we have made a probability for the third chlorine atom. Now here for this one, here it is 35, 35 and 35. So here total mass will be 105. For second series, here it is 35, 35 and 37, so it will be 107. For third one, it is 35, 37 and 35, it will be 107. For fourth one, it is 35, 37 and 37, it will be 109. In the same way, we have calculated the molecular mass for all the remaining chlorine atom. Now it is observed that 4 different masses we will get here. First mass is 105, second mass is 107, third one is 109 and fourth one is 111. How many different molecular masses we get? We get 4 different molecular masses. One is 105, second is 107, third is 109 and fourth is 111. Now go back to question. So here how many different relative molecular masses we will get? We will get 4 different relative molecular masses, that is given here in option C. Question number 14. Gases can diffuse through porous pods. The diagram shows a beaker full of nitrogen inverted over a porous pod containing carbon monoxide. Here we have a beaker. In this beaker we have nitrogen gas, and this beaker is kept inverted on a porous pod. In this porous pod we have carbon monoxide gas. It is a U-shaped tube. In this U-shaped tube we have water. The water level does not move. Which statement explains this? Here this water level is because of the pressure exerted by the gas on this side, and here because of the atmospheric pressure. Here the water level is same on both the sides, so here the pressure of the gas is equal to atmospheric pressure. Now we check the options first. Which statement explains this? Option A, nitrogen is almost inert. No, nitrogen is not an inert gas. Nitrogen reacts with other elements, so this option is incorrect. Option B, the two gases have equal molecular masses. Yes, it is the correct option. Here we have two gases, one is nitrogen and second is carbon monoxide. Molecular mass of nitrogen is 2 multiplied by 14, it is 28. Molecular mass of carbon monoxide is 12 plus 16, it is 28. So here molecular mass of nitrogen and carbon monoxide is same. Since here molecular mass of both the gases are same, so here both the gases will not diffuse in each other, because in rate of diffusion we have studied that the gas having greater molecular mass diffuses less and the gas with less molecular mass diffuse more. Both the gases have same molecular mass, so here diffusion will be almost zero. Since the gases are not diffusing in each other, so the gas inside the porous pod will remain inside the porous pod and the pressure exerted by the gas on the liquid will be unchanged. It will remain same. Since the pressure is unchanged, pressure remains same, so here water level will also remain same. So here correct option is option B, where it is given the two gases have equal molecular masses. Question number 15. Aqueous copper sulfate is electrolyzed using carbon electrode. Which observation will be made? Aqueous copper sulfate means we have copper ion, sulfate ion, hydrogen ion and hydroxide ion. Now we check the options. Here we have three columns. In the first column it is given at the positive electrode, second column about electrolyte and third column at the negative electrode. Since copper is positively charged ion, so it will migrate towards the negative electrode. And at the negative electrode, at the cathode, this copper ion will gain 2 electrons and it will be converted to copper atom. And this copper will be deposited at the negative electrode. So at the negative electrode, we will get pink solid. This pink solid is color of copper. Since here pink solid is given in option A and D, so our possible options are A and D. Now we check at the positive electrode what will happen. At the positive electrode, negative ion will move. Here in the solution we have two negative ion. One is hydroxide ion and second is sulfate ion. At the positive electrode, at the anode, this hydroxide ion will migrate, and at the positive electrode, at the anode, this hydroxide ion will lose electron and oxygen gas will be liberated. Now oxygen gas is colorless. Since oxygen gas is colorless and colorless gas is given in option A, so our correct option is option A, where it is given at the positive electrode colorless gas form. This colorless gas is oxygen gas. Here at the negative electrode we got pink solid. This pink solid is because of copper. And what about the electrolyte? In electrolyte, copper ion will be decreased. Since in the electrolyte copper ions are decreasing, and in the electrolyte blue color is because of copper sulfate. So with the decrease in copper ion, the color of the solution will also be changed. So blue color will fade. A correct option, option A, where it is given at the positive electrode we get colorless gas, electrolyte blue color fades, and at the negative electrode we get pink solid. Question number 16. Which ion is not present in dilute sulfuric acid? Dilute sulfuric acid means sulfuric acid is dissolved in water. When we will dissolve sulfuric acid in water, we will have hydrogen ion, hydroxide ion and sulfate ion. Hydrogen ion, hydroxide ion and sulfate ion are present in dilute sulfuric acid, but this SO3 ion will not be present in sulfuric acid. And it is asked which ion is not present, so our correct option is option C. Question number 17. The diagram shows an energy profile diagram for a chemical reaction both with and without a catalyst. Which energy change is the activation energy for the catalyzed reaction? Energy of activation means from the start of the reactant to the peak point. So here this B will represent activation energy. And also here we are looking, it is starting point from the reactant, it is peak point. So from this point to this point it is also activation energy. Here A and B both represents activation energy. Now what is use of a catalyst? Why we use a catalyst in a reaction? Catalyst is used to decrease the activation energy. So for a catalyzed reaction, the activation energy will be less. Now less activation energy is B, so our correct option is option B. Question number 18. Which equation does not represent a redox reaction? Option A. In option A, ammonia is reacted with sulfuric acid and we get ammonium sulfate. Ammonia is an alkali, When we react an alkali with an acid, this reaction is called neutralization reaction, and neutralization reaction is not a redox reaction. So here our correct option A, because the reaction shown in the option A is neutralization, and neutralization is not a redox reaction. So correct option A. Question number 19. The diagram shows the apparatus used to measure the rate of reaction between calcium carbonate and dilute hydrochloric acid. The mass of the flask and the contents is measured at regular interval of time. Which graph correctly shows how the mass of the flask and the contents changes with time? When we react calcium carbonate with dilute hydrochloric acid, we get calcium chloride, water and carbon dioxide. Calcium chloride is soluble in water. Now when this calcium chloride, water and carbon dioxide is formed, this carbon dioxide may escape from the conical flask, but calcium chloride that is soluble in water will remain inside the conical flask. So mass of the flask and the contents even after the completion of the reaction will not be zero. Now we check the options. Here we have 4 graphs. In option A, B and D, we are looking that after passage of time, the mass is 0. Here the mass is 0, here mass is 0, here mass is 0. And it is already discussed that even after the completion of the reaction, the mass will not be 0. And mass will not be 0 is shown only in the option C. So here correct option C. Question number 20. Which row correctly compares high carbon steels and low carbon steels? High carbon steels are stronger. Now here in the column high carbon steel, in A and B it is given stronger, in C and D it is given weaker. So possible options are A and B. Since high carbon steel are stronger, so definitely it will be more brittle. For low carbon steel, it will be less brittle. Less brittle means option A is not possible option. Here correct option B, where it is given for high carbon steel it is stronger, and for low carbon steel it is given more easily shaped. More easily shaped means it is malleable. So correct option B. Okay, now we have completed up to question number 20. For remaining part from 21 to 40 we will solve in the next session. Thank you very much.